Lin Mo lowered his head and scrolled through his phone, checking his personal assets in the business simulation game. His cash balance exceeded 9 trillion US dollars. He owned premier properties such as the Shanghai Financial Center and Dubai's Burj Al Arab, along with more luxury sports cars and private islands than he could count. Even his in-game secretaries and bodyguards were top-tier SSS-ranked characters. Throughout his 3 years of high school, Lin Mo had poured nearly all his free time into the game to escape his dull and difficult real life, building a commercial empire in the virtual world powerful enough to influence global financial markets. In the game, a casual decision from him could send shockwaves through stock markets around the world. But once he logged out, he was only a poor student from an ordinary family. To scrape together his college tuition, he had borrowed money from relatives and worked odd jobs all summer. Now that he had arrived in bustling Shanghai, the enormous gap between the game and reality suddenly made everything feel pointless. Forget it. I'll uninstall it. If I keep playing, all of this will still be nothing but meaningless numbers. Lin Mo gave a self-mocking smile, pressed and held the game icon, and prepared to tap uninstall. Just then, his phone suddenly began vibrating violently. A blinding light burst from the screen. When Lin Mo opened his eyes again, the phone had gone completely black, but a cold mechanical voice sounded inside his mind. Real-world coordinates detected overlapping with the game server. Congratulations, player. You have successfully bound the global business king daily withdrawal system. Lin Mo abruptly held his breath, nearly dropping the phone in his hand. He glanced around furtively. A middle-aged woman beside him was still leisurely eating, while a couple not far away remained lost in their own world. No one had noticed anything unusual about him. Am I hallucinating? Or is it so hot that my brain is fried? Lin Mo tentatively called out in his mind. System? Whoosh! A virtual screen visible only to him appeared directly before his eyes. This system is locked onto all of the player's game data. Starting today, the player will receive one random withdrawal opportunity every night at midnight. The player may randomly withdraw one item or asset from the game inventory and manifest it in the real world. The result may be 1 yuan in cash, or it may be a company worth tens of billions. Everything depends on luck. Lin Mo stared at the Withdraw Now button on the screen for a full minute. Only he knew just how terrifyingly much wealth he had accumulated in the game over the past 3 years. Cash, skyscrapers, multinational corporations, private islands, luxury hotels. And now the system was telling him that any of those things could become real. His heartbeat grew faster and faster, almost leaping out of his throat. He took several deep breaths before managing not to shout in public. Calm down. I have to stay calm. A random withdrawal could still give me a pack of tissues. It's too early to celebrate. Even as he told himself that, his finger had already honestly tapped the button. A rainbow-colored prize will appear before him, its pointer spinning rapidly. Company shares. A commercial building would work too. At the very least, give me an apartment downtown. 3 seconds later, the wheel slowly came to a stop. Congratulations, player. Your first withdrawal was successful. Reward: 5.000.000 RMB. The funds have been transferred to the player's bank account ending in 8864. As soon as the voice finished, Lin Mo received a text message from his bank. He stared at the string of zeros on the screen and counted them 3 times. 5 million. Only minutes ago, he had been a poor student borrowing money everywhere to pay his college tuition. Now he had become a millionaire in an instant, yet less than 3 seconds into his happiness. Lin Mo frowned in disappointment. Why is it only 5 million? He was not deliberately being greedy. In his game account, even bonuses for ordinary managers often started at tens of thousands of US dollars. Compared with his enormous virtual fortune, 5 million RMB was not even a drop in the ocean. Still, the system could be used once every day. Given enough time, sooner or later he could bring his entire gaming empire into the real world. Lin Mo glanced at the old canvas suitcase at his feet, tied shut with plastic cord. He was considering whether to buy new clothes at a mall and celebrate with a lavish meal when a clear, concerned female voice suddenly came from beside him. Hey, are you okay? Lin Mo turned his head, and a faint, pleasant fragrance drifted toward him. Standing in front of him was a pretty girl with her hair in a ponytail. She wore a white t-shirt and light blue jeans, with fair skin and clear eyes. A student ID hung from her neck, and she held a Shanghai University welcome team sign in her hand. Her name was Lin Xia, a second-year student in the School of Foreign Languages. Most of the freshmen around them wore designer sneakers and carried the latest phones. Lin Mo alone wore an old gray t-shirt, held a cheap phone, and had a battered suitcase tied together with plastic cord at his feet. A moment earlier, Lin Mo had stared at his phone in shock, then flushed, and finally sighed at his suitcase. To Lin Xia, he was obviously a freshman from an impoverished rural area who had come to a major city for the first time and been overwhelmed by Shanghai's prosperity and high cost of living. She deliberately softened her voice so she would not hurt his pride. "Are you looking for the university shuttle?" Lin Mo nodded. "Hello. I'm a freshman in economics and management. My name is Lin Mo. Hi. I'm Lin Xia, a second-year student in foreign languages." Lin Xia smiled, took a bottle of cold water from her bag, and handed it to him. "It's hot. Drink some water first. Don't stand in the sun. The shuttle is up ahead in the shade. I'll take you there." With that, she naturally reached for Lin Mo's suitcase. Snap! The plastic cord around the suitcase suddenly broke, and the case nearly fell apart on the spot. Startled, Lin Xia quickly used her body to shield the battered suitcase, as though she were protecting something precious for Lin Mo. "It's okay," in a gentle voice, as if comforting a child, she said. "Shanghai may be huge, but the people at our university are kind. If you ever run into trouble with school or daily life, you can come to me. I'll look out for you." Lin Mo instinctively touched his pants pocket. Inside was a bank card that had just received 5 million RMB. Looking at the pretty upper-class woman in front of him, who seemed ready to pull out money and help him at any moment, he did not know what to say. "I just got 5 million in my pocket. I'm really not pretending to be poor." But when he saw the concern in Lin Xiao's eyes, he ultimately suppressed his smile and nodded. "Then I'll be counting on you to look after me." Along the way, Lin Xia held the welcome sign in one hand and gripped Lin Mo's barely intact suitcase tightly with the other. Lin Mo tried several times to take it back, but each time he reached out, Lin Xia turned and glared at him like a stern older sister. "Lin Xia, one of the wheels is already missing. It's heavy. Let me carry it." "It's not heavy." Lin Xia shook her head. "I can carry a full water jug by myself. You just got off a long-distance bus, so you must be tired. Save your strength." When they reached a coffee shop, Lin Xia finally stopped to wipe away her sweat. Exhausted, she said she was thirsty and went inside. When she came back out, she handed Lin Mo a peach oolong tea that cost more than 30 yuan, while she held only the cheapest iced Americano in the store. "Here, it's too hot, so have something cold." "Lin Xia, this is too expensive." "How is it expensive?" Lin Xia pushed the drink into his hand and explained with deliberate casualness. "I happen to have a buy one get one free coupon on my phone. It expires today, so consider this my welcome gift to you." Seeing the flicker in her eyes, Lin Mo immediately knew she was lying. That shop did not offer any general buy one get one free coupon like that. She was simply afraid that a poor freshman would refuse such an expensive drink, so she had invented an excuse to protect his pride. Lin Mo took a sip. The drink was sweet. "Thank you, Lin Xia. When I get the chance, I'll treat you to a meal." Lin Xia assumed he had only said it to save face, but she still nodded happily. "All right, I'll remember that." Before she could finish, a piercing car horn suddenly sounded. A brand new BMW Z4 screeched to a stop in front of them. The window rolled down, and a young man with slick back hair and sunglasses leaned out. "Lin Xia, why are you personally picking up a freshman in this heat instead of sitting by the fan in the welcome tent? Get in. The air conditioning is on, and I can drop you back at the university on my way." The moment she saw him, the smile vanished from Lin Xiao's face. "No thank you, Zhao Hui. I need to take this freshman to the shuttle. If you have nothing else to do, leave. You're blocking the road." Zhao Hui was clearly used to being rejected by her and did not get angry right away. His gaze landed on Lin Mo traveling from the old gray t-shirt to the battered suitcase tied with plastic cord. Contempt immediately entered his eyes. "Lin Xia, I know the university has places for students in financial hardship, but do you really need to go this far for one of them?" With one hand resting on the steering wheel, he deliberately addressed Lin Mo. "Freshman, what remote backwater are you from? Shanghai isn't cheap. If you ever can't even afford food, come find me. A little from my allowance would be enough to let you live comfortably for an entire semester." He sounded as though he were offering help, but every word was meant to humiliate Lin Mo. Lin Xiao's expression immediately changed. She stepped forward at once, placing half her body in front of Lin Mo. "Zhao Hui, You've gone too far. Lin Mo earned his place here with his grades. That's far more impressive than people who rely on their family's money and connections. Show him some respect. Having lost face in front of everyone, Zhao Hui gave a cold laugh. Some people just don't appreciate kindness. Since you enjoy cramming onto that beat-up shuttle, take your time. He slammed on the accelerator. The BMW roared away, deliberately leaving a cloud of exhaust behind. Lin Xiao waved away the fumes and looked at Lin Mo with concern, afraid his pride had been wounded. But Lin Mo was leisurely sipping his peach oolong through a straw, with an almost puzzled look on his face. He had spent the entire exchange calculating the price of that BMW Z4. At most, it was worth 500,000 or 600,000 RMB. In the game, a car of that level was considered too shabby even for his bodyguards. The cheapest vehicles in his garage were Ferraris and McLarens worth several million RMB, even without counting his game assets. He now had 5 million RMB in his account and could buy nearly 10 BMW Z4s at any time. What exactly had Zhao Hui been trying to show off? Lin Mo, are you alright? Seeing that he had remained silent, Lin Xia assumed he had been deeply hurt. Zhao Hui is arrogant only because his family has money. Please don't take anything he said to heart. The fact that you were admitted to Shanghai University already proves your ability. One day, you'll definitely be more successful than he is. Watching her comfort him so earnestly, Lin Mo wanted to laugh. Yet he also felt warmth in his heart. Don't worry, Lin Xia. I didn't take it to heart, and I'm not nearly as poor as he thinks. Lin Xia immediately nodded in agreement. Exactly. We aren't poor. We have dignity. Clearly, she had taken Lin Mo's words as an attempt to preserve his self-respect. After they boarded the campus shuttle, they added each other on WeChat. Although she was sitting right beside him, Lin Xiao worried that talking about money face-to-face would hurt his pride. So she quietly messaged him. Shanghai really is a prosperous city. It's normal to feel pressure the first time you come here. But as long as you're willing to work hard, you can change your future. If you ever run short of living expenses or face any difficulty, you can tell me privately. I've saved a little money from my part-time jobs. I can at least buy you a few meals at the cafeteria. Reading the messages, Lin Mo finally could not suppress his smile. Thank you, Lin Xia, but I truly don't feel inferior. Lin Xia helped Lin Mo complete his registration and handed him the key to room 504 in men's dormitory building 7. Before leaving, she reminded him repeatedly, if you run into any trouble at all, you have to tell me. Lin Mo opened the door to room 504, and a rush of cool air mixed with the scent of air freshener greeted him. It was a standard 4-person dorm room, and 2 students had already arrived. The chubby young man near the door immediately jumped to his feet. Our new roommate is here. He was fashionably dressed and extremely outgoing. He even offered Lin Mo a cigarette. Lin Mo declined with a smile. I don't smoke. My name is Lin Mo. The chubby student tucked the cigarette behind his ear. I'm Chen Bo. You can call me Bo or Fatty. By the window was another student wearing glasses. He had darker skin and a shy personality. Hello. I'm Zhou Tao. From Ludong. The student assigned to the 4th bed was a Shanghai local and would arrive the next day. Chen Bo quickly ranked them by age. Zhou Tao was the oldest, Chen Bo was second, and Lin Mo was third. When Chen Bo saw Lin Mo's old suitcase, his gaze paused for only half a second before moving away naturally. He even took the initiative to help Lin Mo make his bed, showing no sign of disdain. That gave Lin Mo a very good impression of his new roommates. At 11 that night, the dorm lights went out, and the boys began their favorite kind of late-night conversation from their beds. Chen Bo said mysteriously, before coming here, I went through the entire campus forum. Our university has 4 girls everyone agrees are the most beautiful on campus. The other 3 are out of our league. So let's focus on Lin Xia, the second-year student from foreign languages. At the mention of Lin Xia's name, Lin Mo raised an eyebrow slightly. Chen Bo continued, Lin Xia is beautiful and gentle. Everyone says she's the sweetest, most approachable girl at the university. I heard her family isn't well off, so she pays her living expenses with scholarships and part-time work. Unfortunately, girls like her always attract spoiled rich heirs. Lin Mo asked, someone is pursuing her? Of course, Zhao Hui, who lives in the building across from us. His father owns a factory, and he drives his BMW around campus every day. He's been chasing Lin Xia for a long time, but she completely ignores him. Chen Bo also mentioned an upscale cafe called Encounter on the university's commercial street. It had luxurious decor and high prices, making it a favorite place for rich students to flaunt their spending power. Ordinary students could not bear to go inside. Lin Xiao worked there part-time whenever she was free. The pay was good, but the rules were strict, and most customers were difficult to serve. Lin Mo remembered how Lin Xiao had stepped forward to protect him earlier that day and silently committed the cafe's name to memory. He picked up his phone. It was 11:58 p.m. Zhou Tao. Chenbo. I'm exhausted from traveling today. I'm going to sleep. Lin Mo pulled his bed curtain closed and focused all his attention on the time. At exactly midnight, the system's notification sounded on schedule. A new day has begun. The daily withdrawal system has refreshed. Would you like to claim today's reward? Claim it. The rainbow colored wheel began spinning again. Congratulations, player. You have received a fixed asset mystery box. Lin Mo's heart suddenly began racing. In the game, skyscrapers, private islands, and multinational corporations were all classified as fixed assets. Was the system about to give him the Shanghai Financial Center outright? Reward manifestation complete. Congratulations, player. You have received 100% ownership of Encounter Cafe on Shanghai University's Commercial Street. All asset transfer procedures have been automatically completed in accordance with real-world law. The ownership documents, business license, official seals, keys, and corporate bank card have all been stored in the system space. Lin Mo lay under his blanket, utterly baffled. Just one cafe? Where's my skyscraper? Where's my private island? But he quickly came to his senses. Wasn't this the upscale cafe where Lin Xiao worked part-time? Take out the documents. A thick craft paper envelope appeared out of thin air and dropped onto his blanket. Lin Mo turned on his phone's flashlight and examined it beneath the covers like a thief hiding his loot. On top was an ownership transfer agreement bearing official seals. In the field for sole owner, the name Lin Mo was written clearly. Beneath the documents were a ring of keys and a black corporate bank card. The system's arrangements left no loopholes. From that moment on, Lin Mo not only possessed 5 million RMB in cash, but had also become the true owner of the most upscale cafe on the university's Commercial Street. The next day, Chenbo yanked Lin Mo's blanket away. Lin Mo stopped sleeping. The campus is full of freshmen and beautiful upper-class women. Get up and come explore with us. Zhou Tao had wanted to go to the library, but Chenbo forcibly dragged him out of bed. Half an hour later, the three students from room 504 headed out together. The campus was enormous. Chenbo looked around constantly and commented on every girl who passed. After 2 hours of walking, the blazing September sun had nearly drained all three of them. As soon as Chenbo saw the Commercial Street, he pointed ahead. Hurry! There's air conditioning over there. It can save our lives. Brand-name boutiques, electronics stores, and upscale restaurants lined both sides of the Commercial Street. When they reached the corner, Chenbo suddenly stopped. A small French-style building stood there, its walls covered in green vines and its huge floor-to-ceiling windows radiating classical luxury. Expensive cars and superbikes were parked outside. This is it. Encounter Cafe, the most expensive place on the entire campus. Chenbo lowered his voice. I heard they charge you just for breathing once you walk inside. Zhou Tao took several frightened steps backward. Then let's leave quickly. If we accidentally scratch one of the cars outside, selling all three of us wouldn't cover the damage. Chenbo, however, craned his neck to look inside. We won't go in. We'll just look from outside. If we're lucky, we might even see Lin Xiao working in there. Lin Mo nearly burst out laughing. This was his own property. He had not drawn a skyscraper, but judging from the location, decor, and customer traffic, this beginner's reward was already excellent. He patted Chenbo on the shoulder. What's the fun in spying on a girl from across the street? Come on. I'll take you inside today. Order the most expensive things. It's my treat. Terrified, Chenbo grabbed his arm. Are you insane? 3 coffees and 2 slices of cake here could cost half a month's living expenses. Are you planning to eat plain steamed buns in the cafeteria every day after this? Zhou Tao grabbed his other arm as well. I don't like coffee. Cheap lemonade is perfectly fine. Lin Mo could tell that they were genuinely worried he would waste money merely to save face. And warmth rose in his heart. Relax. A few cups of coffee aren't going to bankrupt me. With that, he pulled one roommate with each hand and walked straight into the cafe. The heavy glass doors opened, and cool air carrying the aroma of coffee beans rushed over them. The carpet was so thick it felt like cotton beneath their feet. Soft classical music played in the lobby. The customers were elegantly dressed, and even their conversations were deliberately hushed. Wearing ordinary clothes, Chen Bo and Zhou Tao stood at the entrance feeling uncomfortable from head to toe. Lin Mo, the sign outside says the minimum charge is 188 renminbi. Chen Bo was sweating profusely. If we take 2 extra breaths in here, we might lose a week's food money. Lin Mo dragged them to the most luxurious leather sofa by the window and sat down at ease. This was also the first time he had personally inspected one of his real-world properties. The location, decor, and professionalism of the staff all left him highly satisfied. He scanned the QR code on the table and opened the menu. A single pour-over coffee cost more than 200 RMB, while even a small slice of cake was over 100. Chen Bo nearly cried out when he saw the prices. Zhou Tao began pretending to have a stomachache in an attempt to escape back to the dorm. Lin Mo scrolled directly to the bottom of the menu and selected the 888 RMB Royal Twin Tower afternoon tea set. The set included 3 cups of specialty coffee, 2 3-tier French dessert towers, and a platter of carefully sliced imported fruit. His fingerprint payment went through successfully. Done. Now wait for the food. When Chen Bo heard that he had spent 888 renminbi, his whole body collapsed into the sofa. We're finished. Lin Mo must have borrowed money through some lending app. For the next month, everyone in room 504 may have to stand outside the cafeteria begging with bowls. Meanwhile, the printer behind the counter produced a long order ticket. Manager Zhang glanced at it and said in surprise, "Table 8 ordered our most expensive set. Lin Xia, prepare the fruit platter. This customer must be wealthy." Lin Xia set down the cup in her hand and looked toward table 8. The next second, she froze completely. The person sitting in the main seat with one leg crossed, leisurely admiring the view outside, was Lin Mo. The poor freshman who had dragged a broken suitcase yesterday and looked as though he could not bear to buy even one drink was now sitting in the university's most expensive cafe after ordering an 888 RMB set in a single breath. Lin Xia quickly arrived at a terrible suspicion. Zhao Hui's words must have gotten to Lin Mo. To prove to his new roommates that he was not poor, he might have spent half a month's living expenses here, or even his tuition money. The more she thought about it, the more worried she became. She immediately removed her apron. "Manager Zhang, please hold table 8's order. That's a friend of mine. He may have ordered by mistake. I'm going to stop him." Lin Xia strode quickly to the table and glared at Lin Mo. Lin Mo looked up and smiled. "So you really do work here?" "Lin Xia, stop talking. Come with me." Lin Xia grabbed his hand and pulled him into a corner near the restrooms. Chen Bo and Zhou Tao stared in stunned disbelief. The university's most popular and innocent-looking upper-class woman had known their roommate for only one day, yet she was already dragging him into a corner for a private conversation. Lin Xia pinned Lin Mo against the wall, planted both hands on her hips, and breathed rapidly with anger. "Have you lost your mind? Do you know how expensive the things you just ordered are? I know. It's only 888 renminbi, and you're still smiling." Lin Xia had wanted to lose her temper, but she was afraid of hurting his pride, so she could only advise him patiently like an older sister. "I know what Zhao Hui said yesterday upset you. I can understand wanting to save face in front of your roommates, but pride won't put food on the table. If you spend this money now, are you planning to go hungry for the next 2 weeks?" Seeing that her eyes had reddened with anxiety, Lin Mo suddenly felt touched. They had known each other for only one day, yet she was already thinking so seriously about what was best for him. "Lin Xia, this really isn't what you think. I wasn't provoked, and I'm not pretending to be rich. A little over 800 RMB truly isn't much to me." That only made Lin Xia angrier. She took out her phone and opened WeChat's transfer function. "Fine. You want to save face, right? I'll pay the bill for you. I just received my wages from this job. I'll transfer 900 RMB to you. When we go back out, don't tell your roommates. Just say you paid it yourself." Lin Mo looked at the transfer notification, unsure whether to laugh or cry. He had 5 million RMB in his account and owned the cafe itself, yet an upper-class woman who supported herself through part-time work was insisting on using her wages to rescue him. "Lin Xia, wait a second." Before Lin Mo could finish, an irritating voice came from the other end of the hallway. "I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Isn't this the poor student from yesterday?" Zhao Hui approached with one of his lackeys. When he saw Lin Mo standing so close to Lin Xia, jealousy immediately twisted his face. Now even people who live on handouts can come enjoy the air conditioning in an upscale cafe like this? "Lin Xia, you're so beautiful. Aren't you embarrassed to spend all day with a poor kid who can't even afford bottled water? Zhao Hui pointed at Lin Mo and mocked him loudly. Search his pockets. If he can pay more than 500 RMB in this cafe today, I, Zhao Hui, will eat the carpet off the floor in front of everyone. Hearing the argument, Chen Bo and Zhou Tao immediately rose from their seats. Lin Xiao's face turned pale. What she had feared had finally happened. Lin Mo had to be pretending to stay calm merely to preserve his dignity. Now that Zhao Hui was humiliating him in public, his pride was probably being crushed completely. She was about to step forward to protect him when a warm hand settled on her shoulder. Lin Mo moved her behind him and looked calmly at Zhao Hui. A lot of people walk over this carpet every day. Are you sure you want to eat it? The smile on Zhao Hui's face instantly froze. His lackey immediately pointed at Lin Mo and shouted, "You dare talk back to Zhao Hui? A poor freshman who arrived dragging a broken suitcase thinks he can play the hero here?" Zhao Hui had always bullied his way around the university. Now a freshman in cheap clothes had mocked him in front of the girl he liked, and rage immediately surged through him. "Fine. I'm officially making this bet with you. If your bill is over 500 RMB, I'll kneel down and eat the carpet in front of every customer in this cafe. If it's under 500, get out immediately and never show your face in front of me again." Customers throughout the lobby turned to watch. Lin Xia hurriedly said, "Zhao Hui, that's enough. It's only coffee. I'll pay the bill." Once again, she held out the 900 RMB transfer to Lin Mo. Helplessly, Lin Mo took hold of her wrist. "Lin Xia, you really don't need to." The instant he touched her wrist, Lin Xia's body stiffened as though she had been shocked, and she finally fell silent. Lin Mo took out his old phone. At the sight of it, Zhao Hui could not help laughing again. "Come on, Ben. Let me see how much you can pay with that piece of junk." Chen Bo and Zhou Tao rushed over as well. "Lin Mo, who is this guy?" "No one important," Lin Mo said casually. "Just a strange upperclassman who suddenly developed a craving for carpet." With that, he opened his payment history and held the screen in front of Zhao Hui. "Encounter Cafe. Payment amount, 888 renminbi. Payment successful." Those 3 digits struck Zhao Hui across the face like a resounding slap. "That's impossible." Zhao Hui's eyes widened as he stumbled 2 steps backward. How could someone who arrived at university with a broken suitcase spend more than 800 RMB on afternoon tea? That screenshot has to be fake. Lin Mo laughed. "If you don't believe it, let the cafe check its records." Manager Zhang walked over carrying a tablet. Zhao Hui immediately pointed at Lin Mo. "Manager Zhang, is something wrong with your system? This poor kid claims he paid 888 renminbi. Check it immediately." After reviewing the records, Manager Zhang answered without expression. "Mr. Zhao, there is nothing wrong with the system. The royal set at table 8 has been paid in full. The money was transferred to our cafe from this gentleman's account." Zhao Hui's lackey stood with his mouth open, unable to say another word. Chen Bo immediately became smug. "Did you hear that? My friend is willing to spend more than 800 RMB on afternoon tea. What business is it of yours?" Lin Mo put away his phone and lightly tapped the carpet with the toe of his shoe. "The account has been verified." "Zhao Hui, now it's time to keep your promise. Are you eating it plain? Or should Manager Zhang add some chili and seasoning?" Laughter immediately erupted around them. Zhao Hui's face turned crimson. If he truly knelt down and ate the carpet, a video of it would spread across the entire university before the next day. "Who do you think you are? You aren't worthy of making me eat carpet." Humiliated and furious, he snapped. "You must have taken money your parents worked hard to earn and brought it here to pretend you're rich and impress girls. Spending 800 RMB doesn't prove you're wealthy. It only proves you're irresponsible. You'll spend all your living money today and beg other people for food tomorrow." "Lin Xia, open your eyes. Someone like him doesn't deserve your help." Lin Xia finally reached the limit of her patience. "Zhao Hui, Lin Mo is spending his own money. What does it have to do with you?" Zhao Hui gave a cold laugh. "Because I'm richer than he is. When I spend money, it's entertainment. When he spends money, he's ruining himself. To recover his dignity, Zhao Hui took out his phone and shouted at Manager Zhang. "Whatever he ordered, bring me 2 of them. No, send the best coffee in the cafe to every table. Today, I'll show this poor kid what real spending power looks like." Lin Mo idly picked at his ear. He had expected Zhao Hui to produce some astonishing display, but the man was merely throwing a childish tantrum and spending a few thousand RMB. In Lin Mo's eyes, that amount did not even qualify as pocket change. "Is the performance over?" Lin Mo said to Manager Zhang. Please prepare a fruit platter. Not for me. It's a reward for Zhao Hui. I'm afraid chewing the carpet directly might scratch his throat. Let him eat a few pieces of watermelon first to moisten it. The lobby erupted in laughter once again. Zhao Hui lost control completely and kicked over a nearby trash can. The tremendous noise drew more complaints from the customers, and many even took out their phones to record him. Manager Zhang's expression turned cold. Mr. Zhao, we welcome however much you wish to spend, but this is an upscale cafe, not a roadside stall. If you continue causing trouble, I will have no choice but to ask security to escort you out. Zhao Hui pointed at her face and cursed. A mere employee dares threaten me? Do you believe I can have someone shut this place down? Manager Zhang did not argue. She merely glanced toward the entrance. Two tall, heavily built security guards immediately approached. As the guards came closer, Zhao Hui finally lost the nerve to continue making trouble. He pointed at Lin Mo and said through clenched teeth, "Kid, you got lucky today. Once freshman military training begins, I'll make you regret this." With that, he left the cafe in disgrace with his lackey. Naturally, he did not honor his promise to kneel down and eat the carpet. After Zhao Hui left, Chen Bo stared at Lin Mo as though he were some kind of monster. "Lin Mo, have you secretly been running some huge business behind our backs?" Zhou Tao added. "The way you carried yourself just now almost made me think you were the owner of this cafe." Lin Mo was amused. Zhou Tao might have been honest and naive, but his guess was remarkably close to the truth. "We only just started university. What kind of background could I possibly have? Come on, let's go back and eat." Lin Mo had just turned around when Lin Xia caught up from behind and grabbed his hand. "Tell me honestly, where did you get all this money?" Her face was full of concern, as though she feared Lin Mo had done something illegal or borrowed from loan sharks just to save face. Lin Mo could only invent an excuse on the spot. "Don't worry. The money is completely legitimate. A road was being built near my hometown recently, and part of my family's land was requisitioned. The government paid us compensation, so I really do have some money now. I brought that old suitcase yesterday only because I'm sentimental about old things and couldn't bear to throw it away." Lin Xiao looked at him with half belief and half suspicion. "Really? 100% true." Lin Mo shrugged. "So take back that 900 RMB and buy yourself a nice outfit. You take such good care of me that I'm starting to think you're my mother." "Who are you calling your mother?" Lin Xiao's face instantly turned red. The tense, serious atmosphere immediately became lighthearted. Once she confirmed that Lin Mo had not borrowed money, she finally relaxed. "If you received compensation, then I worried for nothing." She turned toward the counter with a slightly offended huff. "I prepared that fruit platter myself. If any of you leave even one piece, I won't forgive you." Before long, 3 cups of coffee, 2 exquisite dessert towers, and a large platter of imported fruit were delivered to the table. Chen Bo and Zhou Tao sat rigidly upright, as though the slightest movement might incur an additional charge. "Are you holding a memorial service for the cake?" Lin Mo took a sip of coffee. Chen Bo swallowed. "With something this expensive, every bite costs several RMB. The money is already spent. Did we order it just to stare at it?" Lin Mo picked up a pastry and shoved it directly into Chen Bo's mouth. Chen Bo's eyes immediately lit up. "It's delicious." He quickly abandoned all restraint and began eating enthusiastically. Zhou Tao also carefully picked up a slice of cake, and soon both of them had cream around their mouths. Halfway through the meal, Chen Bo became worried again. "Lin Mo, you offended Zhao Hui badly today. His family is wealthy and has connections. He said he'll come after you during military training. We should stay away from him. Why should we avoid him?" Lin Mo leaned back against the sofa, looking at the brilliant sunlight outside as the corner of his mouth rose slightly. He had 5 million RMB in his account and owned a thriving upscale cafe. More importantly, he possessed a system that could bring him a new reward every day. Teaching a spoiled rich heir who flaunted his parents' allowance a lesson would be far too easy for him. Chen Bo pressed him. "What will you do if he really comes looking for trouble?" Lin Mo picked up a piece of cake and answered casually. "Nothing much. I'll just let him experience the cruelty of reality a little early." Meanwhile, Zhao Hui climbed into his BMW and slammed his fist against the steering wheel. "A poor kid from some backwater dared humiliate me in public." His lackey hurriedly handed him a cigarette. "Don't be angry, Zhao Hui. He must have borrowed money from a bank or lending platform so he could pretend to be wealthy in front of everyone. Once he spends it all, he won't even be able to afford food. Then Lin Xiao will naturally see what he really is." Zhao Hui took a drag from the cigarette. His eyes filled with venom. Find out exactly who he is and which class he's in. Once military training starts, I'll have plenty of ways to deal with him. I'll make him repay the humiliation he caused me today twice over. The BMW roared away from the commercial street. Back in the cafe, Lin Mo continued enjoying the air conditioning and leisurely finished the 888 RMB afternoon tea. When he returned to the dorm that evening, Li Hao, the roommate assigned to the fourth bed, had arrived. Li Hao wore designer clothes and an expensive watch. He came from a wealthy Shanghai family, but he had a pleasant personality and none of the arrogance common among spoiled rich heirs. That evening, he treated the entire dorm to dinner. The four roommates quickly became familiar with one another and talked until late at night. After all his roommates fell asleep, Lin Mo lay quietly in bed and waited for midnight. A new day has begun. The daily withdrawal system has refreshed. Would you like to claim today's reward? Lin Mo opened his eyes, a smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Begin. The rainbow-colored wheel spun rapidly. Congratulations, player. Today's reward. 1 Richard Mille RM56-02 fully transparent sapphire watch. With a thought from Lin Mo, a transparent watch, cool to the touch, appeared in his palm. Using the light from his phone screen, he examined it carefully. Nearly the entire watch was made from hard, transparent sapphire. Its complex and precise inner mechanism was clearly visible, and even the strap was transparent. It looked like something taken from a science fiction movie. In the game, it had been nothing more than an ordinary collectible, but in the real world, only a tiny number of such watches existed. Even someone willing to pay tens of millions of RMB might not find an owner willing to sell. Wearing it was like strapping a luxury mansion to one's wrist. Lin Mo, however, only thought the case felt cool and would probably keep his wrist from sweating in summer. The system had given it to him for free, so he might as well wear it. He put the watch on his wrist, rolled over, and soon fell asleep. At 8 the next morning, room 504 was in chaos. Chen Bo stood outside the bathroom with his legs squeezed together, pounding frantically on the door. Li Hao, can you hurry up? My bladder is about to explode. From inside the bathroom, Li Hao answered weakly. The barbecue last night must have been cooked with terrible oil. My stomach still hasn't recovered. Zhou Tao stood beside the sink brushing his teeth. Lin Mo got out of bed with messy hair and walked over carrying his toothbrush and towel. His wrist felt slightly sticky, so he casually removed the watch worth tens of millions of RMB and tossed it beside the wet sink as if setting down a coin. Sunlight streamed through the window. Water droplets on the transparent sapphire case refracted dazzling rays of light. The bathroom door finally opened. Li Hao emerged with a pale face. Supporting himself against the doorframe, Chen Bo rushed inside like a gust of wind and immediately locked the door. Li Hao walked to the sink to wash his hands, but his gaze suddenly froze on the transparent watch. Chen Bo and Zhou Tao knew nothing about luxury watches, but Li Hao had grown up in a wealthy family and loved studying exotic cars and expensive timepieces. The instant he saw the distinctive transparent case and the mechanical structure clearly visible inside, his eyes widened. Holy crap! A Richard Mille RM56-02? He even forgot to wash his hands and bent close to the watch as though examining an unparalleled treasure. With toothpaste foam still in his mouth, Zhou Tao asked curiously, "Is that watch special?" "Special?" Li Hao sucked in a sharp breath. "It's a symbol of billionaire status. Only a handful of genuine ones exist worldwide, and the entire case is carved from sapphire. On the private market, it costs at least tens of millions of RMB, and even money may not be enough to buy one." As he explained, he reached out to touch it, then abruptly stopped. The watch was lying beside Lin Mo's sink, so it obviously belonged to Lin Mo. But Li Hao had already learned about Lin Mo's circumstances the previous night. An old phone, a broken suitcase, and a family that had merely received some compensation after land requisition. How could someone like that own a watch worth tens of millions of RMB? Even if Lin Mo himself were sold, the money probably would not buy one tiny component from the watch. After examining it carefully for a moment, Li Hao suddenly clapped his hands in realization. "Lin Mo, you're incredible. Where did you buy such a high-quality replica? The workmanship, movement, and transparency look exactly like the genuine article. If I hadn't already met you, I would almost have mistaken it for the real thing." Chen Bo came out of the bathroom and leaned over the sink to study it as well. "You're saying this plastic toy is worth tens of millions of RMB? It doesn't even have a speck of gold on it. It looks like a children's watch from a street stall." Li Hao immediately objected. "What do you know? This is the highest form of mechanical artistry. Then he looked at Lin Mo expectantly again. Lin Mo, stop keeping it secret and tell me where you bought this replica. People will know it's fake the moment they see me wearing it. But it would still be enough to fool people who don't know watches when I go to a bar at night. Lin Mo rinsed his mouth and wiped his face with a towel. He picked up the watch worth tens of millions of RMB and roughly wiped away the water with the hem of his t-shirt. Li Hao's heart clenched at the sight. Even if it's fake, you can't wipe it like that. Lin Mo put the watch back on his wrist and said with a perfectly serious expression, "You're all imagining that it's far more expensive than it is. I bought it during an online promotion. It was only 9 renminbi and 90 cents, with free shipping." The moment Chen Bo heard it was cheap, his eyes lit up. Only 9.9? Does it glow in the dark? Without changing his expression, Lin Mo continued making things up. It's not only waterproof. If you press the button on the side, it can project animated characters onto the wall. Chen Bo excitedly slapped him on the shoulder. It's that amazing? Only 9 renminbi and 90 cents with free shipping? That's an incredible deal. Send me the link. I'll buy one too. If I wear it, I'll definitely be the coolest person in our class. Search for it yourself. Laughing, Lin Mo pushed him away and returned to the dorm room with his toiletries. Only Li Hao remained in the hallway, standing there blankly. He watched Lin Mo's retreating back and began questioning everything he knew. 9 renminbi and 90 cents with free shipping? Have counterfeit manufacturers become this skilled? They can make a perfect copy of a Richard Mille worth tens of millions? For the moment, the story ended there. Lin Mo still had not revealed the system or his true assets to anyone. Zhao Hui was secretly planning to use military training to take revenge, while Lin Mo would continue receiving new cash, luxury cars, companies, or premier assets every midnight. His true life as an outrageously wealthy university tycoon had only just begun. The next evening, Lin Mo returned to the dorm after a shower and found Chen Bo, Zhou Tao, and Li Hao gathered around the laptop. "Lin Mo, you've gone viral," Chen Bo said with a grave expression. Lin Mo leaned over to look. The most popular post on the campus forum had an especially eye-catching title. Impoverished freshman borrows 800 renminbi for afternoon tea just to chase the foreign languages campus beauty. The post included not only a photo of Lin Mo ordering at the cafe, but also one of him dragging his broken suitcase on enrollment day. The poster had deliberately placed the two pictures together to suggest that Lin Mo was vain, desperate to look wealthy, and had even secretly taken out a campus loan. The comments section was already in an uproar. He dresses like that and still goes to Encounter Cafe. He's obviously pretending to be rich. I heard he borrowed money from several lending platforms just to pursue Lin Xia. Freshmen these days are unbelievably vain. Chen Bo slammed the table in anger. What do these people know? Lin Mo spent his own money. Zhou Tao adjusted his glasses. But we don't have proof. Even if we post the payment record, they'll say he borrowed that money too. Li Hao stared at one of the photos and suddenly pointed at Lin Mo's wrist. The problem isn't only the afternoon tea. Someone enlarged the photo of your watch and said you're wearing a fake Richard Mille. People have already started taking bets on when you'll drop out because you can't repay your loans. Lin Mo calmly scrolled down. Although the post had been published from an anonymous account, its phrasing was almost identical to the way Zhao Hui's lackey spoke. "Lin Mo, aren't you angry?" Chen Bo asked. "Why should I be?" Lin Mo closed the web page. "The harder they attack me now, the more their faces will hurt a few days from now." Just then, midnight arrived. The familiar mechanical voice sounded inside Lin Mo's mind. "A new day has begun. The daily withdrawal system has refreshed. Would you like to claim today's reward?" Lin Mo pulled his bed curtain closed. "Claim it." The rainbow-colored wheel spun rapidly. "Congratulations, player. You have received a special class reward. Reward: 1 SSS rank physical enhancement serum. Would you like to use it immediately? Use it." A wave of scorching energy instantly surged through Lin Mo's entire body. His muscles did not visibly swell, nor did his appearance undergo any exaggerated change, but it felt as though everything inside him had been completely rebuilt. His eyesight, hearing, reflexes, strength, and endurance all improved dramatically. Lin Mo could even clearly hear the wind moving through the leaves downstairs. Enhancement complete. The player's current physical condition has reached the human limit. Lin Mo flexed his wrist. Zhao Hui was preparing to cause trouble for him during military training, and the system had delivered a physical enhancement at exactly the right time. This luck is almost unfair. The next day, freshman military training officially began. The economics and management students were assigned to training field number 1. Their instructor was Gao Feng, 27 years old, tall and straight-backed with a stern expression. He had once won a military-wide combat skills competition. The students had just formed their ranks when a member of the student union walked over to Gao Feng and spoke quietly to him. Lin Mo recognized the man immediately. It was Sun Kai, the lackey who had followed Zhao Hui the day before. After speaking, Sun Kai deliberately glanced in Lin Mo's direction. Gao Feng frowned but said nothing. Less than half an hour after training began, Zhao Hui arrived at the field wearing a red student union vest. Instructor Gao, I've heard that some of this year's freshmen have very poor discipline, especially certain students from small towns who borrowed money to show off the moment they enrolled. The influence is extremely harmful. Beside Lin Mo, Chen Bo muttered a curse. This guy just won't stop. Gao Feng looked at Zhao Hui. Military training is the instructor's responsibility. Anyone uninvolved should not interfere. Zhao Hui's expression stiffened. Sun Kai hurriedly said, Instructor Gao, we're only trying to protect the university's standards. That freshman named Lin Mo was still playing on his phone in the dorm after lights out last night, and he was 30 seconds late to formation today. According to the rules, he should receive extra training. Lin Mo narrowed his eyes slightly. He had arrived at the field 10 minutes early that morning. He had not been late at all. Gao Feng glanced at the roster in his hand. Lin Mo, step out. Yes, sir. Lin Mo stepped forward. A smug smile had already appeared at the corner of Zhao Hui's mouth. As long as Gao Feng punished Lin Mo, the people Zhao Hui had arranged would record it and upload a video of Lin Mo collapsing from exhaustion and humiliating himself in public to the campus forum. But Gao Feng did not punish him immediately. Someone reported that you were late. Do you have an explanation? Sir, I was not late. Lin Mo pointed toward the surveillance cameras beside the training field. I entered the field at 7.20. Formation time was 7.30. The cameras can prove it. Zhao Hui immediately said. So we're supposed to believe you just because you say so? Would a student union officer deliberately frame you? Gao Feng's gaze turned cold. I wasn't asking you. Once again, Zhao Hui was silenced. Sweat appeared on Sun Kai's forehead. He had not expected Gao Feng to demand evidence. At that moment, an assistant instructor ran over. Instructor Gao. The surveillance room checked the footage. Lin Mo did arrive at 7.20. Sun Kai, on the other hand, did not reach the training field until 7.40. Laughter that no one could suppress immediately rippled through the group. Sun Kai's face turned bright red. Gao Feng said in a heavy voice, framing a freshman and interfering with military training. Is this how your student union conducts itself? Zhao Hui hurriedly explained. It may just be a misunderstanding. Sun Kai remembered the wrong person. The wrong person? Lin Mo suddenly laughed. There probably aren't many freshmen at this university who arrived with a broken suitcase, wear a 9.9 RMB watch, and have offended Zhao Hui. The laughter in the formation grew louder. Zhao Hui gritted his teeth. Even if he wasn't late, there has to be something wrong with his physical fitness. People like him are the ones most likely to hold the entire class back during military training. Gao Feng looked at Lin Mo. Whether there's a problem with his fitness is easy to test. 10 laps around the field. Who is willing to run with him? Zhao Hui's eyes lit up. This was exactly the opportunity he wanted. I'll do it. He regularly went to the gym and had even joined the university's distance running club. 10 laps was 4 kilometers. An ordinary freshman who ran that distance under the blazing sun would certainly collapse on the spot. Zhao Hui removed his student union vest and rolled his wrists. Lin Mo, do you dare race me? The loser admits in front of everyone that he's worthless. Lin Mo glanced at him. You still owe me a serving of carpet. Settle yesterday's debt first. Laughter sounded through the crowd again. Zhao Hui's face darkened to a purplish red. Enough nonsense. If you win, I'll apologize publicly and eat that carpet. If you lose, stay away from Lin Xia from now on. Lin Mo shook his head. Lin Xia isn't anyone's property. You have no right to use her as a wager. Several nearby girls nodded when they heard that. Gao Feng also gave Lin Mo a second look. Enough talking. Get ready. A whistle sounded, and the two of them surged forward at the same time. Zhao Hui used all his strength from the start, determined to leave Lin Mo behind as quickly as possible. At the end of the first lap, he led by nearly 50 meters. Standing beside the track, Sun Kai shouted excitedly, Go, Zhao Hui! Show that poor kid the difference between you. Zhao Hui remained ahead after the second lap, but by the third, His breathing had already become labored. Lin Mo, in contrast, never changed pace. His stride was as relaxed as though he were strolling across campus. On the fourth lap, Lin Mo caught Zhao Hui. On the fifth, he lapped him completely. Zhao Hui's face was deathly pale, and his legs felt as heavy as lead. How can you possibly be this fast? Lin Mo passed him. Zhao Hui, you should smoke less. If your body can't keep up, stop trying to measure yourself against everyone else. The surrounding freshmen doubled over with laughter. By the eighth lap, Zhao Hui could no longer run. He could only brace his hands on his knees and gasp for air. When Lin Mo completed all 10 laps, there was not even a drop of sweat on his face. Gao Feng looked down at the stopwatch, and for the first time, his expression changed noticeably. That result surpassed the performance of many professional athletes. Lin Mo, sir, have you trained before? No, truly never. I often helped my family with farm work when I was younger. Gao Feng fell silent for several seconds. What kind of farm work could produce a result like that? Had he carried tractors around every day? On the other side of the field, Zhao Hui finally staggered through his sixth lap and dropped onto the ground. I'm not running anymore. It's too hot. This race doesn't count. Chen Bo immediately shouted. Now it's too hot because you lost? Weren't you the one who demanded the race? Zhou Tao added seriously. According to the weather app, the temperature did not change significantly during the competition. Humiliated and furious, Zhao Hui snapped. Shut up. Gao Feng walked up to him. There is no cheating or backing out on a training field. You made the wager yourself, so you will accept the consequences. Now apologize to Lin Mo. Every eye around them focused on Zhao Hui. He clenched both fists, wishing the ground would open and swallow him. Sorry. His voice was almost inaudible. Lin Mo picked at his ear. Zhao Hui, are you apologizing to an ant? Zhao Hui ground his teeth so hard they creaked. Lin Mo, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have framed you. Gao Feng looked at Sun Kai. You too. Apologize to Lin Mo, then leave the training field. Sun Kai could only lower his head. A video of the race quickly spread across campus. The people who had mocked Lin Mo on the forum the day before began deleting their comments one after another. But Zhao Hui did not give up. On the third day of military training, a so-called investigative report suddenly appeared on the campus forum. It claimed that no land requisition had ever taken place in Lin Mo's home village and that his story about receiving 5 million RMB in compensation was a complete lie. At the same time, someone contacted several lending platforms in an attempt to prove that Lin Mo had borrowed from loan sharks. The post ended with the statement, "A student who lies constantly and maliciously flaunts wealth does not deserve to remain at Shanghai University." Within a single hour, the post reached the top of the trending list. Some people even reported Lin Mo to the university and demanded an investigation into the source of his money. The academic counselor summoned Lin Mo to the office. Lin Xia heard about the situation and hurried over as well. Sir, Lin Mo is absolutely not a bad person. I'm willing to vouch for him. The counselor said helplessly. I didn't say he was a bad person, but this matter has caused a major disturbance at the university. Lin Mo, as long as you prove that the money came from a legal source, the university naturally won't discipline you. Before Lin Mo could speak, Zhao Hui entered the office with a middle-aged man. The man was Zhao Yongchang, Zhao Hui's father and the owner of Yongchang Electronics Factory. Zhao Yongchang's belly protruded beneath his clothes, and a gold watch gleamed on his wrist. Counselor, I am also an alumnus of Shanghai University. I heard that a student with unexplained finances had appeared at the university, so I came specifically to learn about the situation. The counselor frowned. Mr. Zhao, this is an internal university matter. My son was publicly humiliated by him. Of course I have the right to ask questions. Zhao Yongchang looked Lin Mo up and down. Young man, there is nothing shameful about being poor. What is shameful is having no money and still lying to pretend you're rich. If you admit your mistake now and stay away from Lin Xia, I can repay your loans for you. I can even give your parents some compensation. Lin Xia's face turned pale with anger. Uncle Zhao, you don't understand Lin Mo at all. Lin Xia, I'm doing this for your own good. Zhao Yongchang spoke as though offering sincere guidance. A girl like you should marry into a family with good circumstances someday. Getting too close to someone with no background will only hold you back. Lin Mo leaned back in his chair. Mr. Zhao, did you come here to investigate my money, or to help your son claim a girlfriend? The smile instantly vanished from Zhao Yongchang's face. Young man, don't speak so arrogantly. Do you think having a few million RMB means you can do whatever you want in Shanghai? I have operated Yongchan Electronics for 20 years, and my assets are worth nearly 1 billion RMB. If I choose, a single word from me can make sure you never find a job anywhere in Shanghai. The moment he finished, a system notification suddenly sounded inside Lin Mo's mind. The player has encountered a malicious commercial threat. Temporary counterattack mission triggered. Mission: make the person issuing the threat understand the true difference in commercial power. Reward: 1 additional withdrawal opportunity. Lin Mo smiled. The system is becoming more considerate. What did you say? Zhao Yongchang had not heard him clearly. Nothing. Lin Mo took out his phone. Mr. Zhao, isn't your electronics factory currently competing for a 500 million RMB order from Shanghai Technology? Zhao Yongchang's expression shifted slightly. The matter was still in commercial negotiations, and very few people knew about it. Where did you hear that? Just asking. Lin Mo stood. You had better pray that the order is signed successfully. Otherwise, Yongchan Electronics cash flow may not survive 3 months. Zhao Yongchang gave a cold laugh. A university freshman dares comment on my company? Shanghai Technology's vice president has already promised that the contract will be signed this afternoon. Then congratulations in advance. After saying that, Lin Mo turned and left the office. Behind him, Zhao Hui mocked. Dad, he's obviously bluffing. Once the Shanghai Technology contract is signed, we'll hold the celebration banquet near the university and show everyone what a real entrepreneur looks like. After returning to the dorm, Lin Mo did not rush to address the rumors on the forum. He opened the system interface and tapped the daily withdrawal button. The rainbow-colored pointer slowly stopped. Congratulations, player. You have received a corporate class asset. Reward: 67% of the shares in Shanghai Technology Group. The player has become the actual controlling shareholder of Shanghai Technology. All related equity, board seats, and legal procedures have been completed automatically. Lin Mo stared at the reward for a full 10 seconds. The Zhao family is so excited about a 500 million RMB order that they want to throw a celebration banquet. And now the company responsible for signing the contract belongs to me? The system did not answer, but the temporary mission's progress had already risen from 0 to 50%. A few minutes later, a call came from an unfamiliar number. May I speak with Mr. Lin Mo? A capable female voice came through the phone. I am Su Qingya, president of Shanghai Technology Group. The board has just completed the equity transfer. Starting today, you are the group's largest shareholder and chairman. We currently have several important contracts awaiting your approval. Lin Mo asked. Is Yongchan Electronics 500 million RMB order among them? Su Qingya paused. Yes. Their quotation is 18% higher than those of the other suppliers. And there are also problems with their product qualification rate. The former vice president accepted benefits from Zhao Yongchang and therefore insisted on cooperating with them. Our audit department has already secured evidence. Lin Mo's voice turned cold. Cancel the cooperation. Report the former vice president to the police. Also, the frontline workers at Yongchan Electronics did nothing wrong. Investigate whether their wages are in arrears. If the company enters bankruptcy proceedings, Shanghai Technology can acquire the production lines and give those workers priority placement. Su Qingya was clearly surprised. She had assumed that this young chairman who had suddenly appeared would simply destroy Yongchan Electronics completely. She had not expected the first thing Lin Mo considered to be the jobs of ordinary workers. Understood. One more thing. Lin Mo looked at the campus forum on the computer. Can the group's legal department help me investigate an anonymous account? Yes. The account is suspected of spreading rumors, violating my privacy, and publicly fabricating information about my finances. Su Qingya's tone immediately became serious. Please send me the materials. Within 1 hour, the legal department will complete formal evidence preservation. At 2 o'clock that afternoon, Zhao Yongchang sat in the conference room at Yongchan Electronics. He had deliberately changed into a new suit, and champagne prepared in advance stood on the table. Once the 500 million RMB order is signed, we'll be able to secure new bank loans. By next year, the company's valuation will at least double. Zhao Hui had also brought several classmates to the conference room. He was ready to film the contract signing and post the video on the university forum. Dad, why haven't the people from Shanghai Technology arrived yet? What's the hurry? Zhao Yongchang glanced at his watch. Executives from major companies are often late. At 2:10, the conference room door finally opened. But the people who entered were not the contract team. They were representatives from Shanghai Technology's legal and audit departments. The lead attorney placed a document on the table. Mr. Zhao, with the approval of the group's new chairman, Shanghai Technology is formally terminating all cooperation with Yongchan Electronics. At the same time, we have submitted evidence to the police showing that your company bribed the former vice president and falsified product inspection reports. The smile on Zhao Yongchang's face froze instantly. A new chairman? When did Shanghai Technology get a new chairman? The attorney did not answer. Behind him, 2 police officers had already entered the room. The phone slipped from Zhao Hui's hand and fell to the floor. Dad, what is happening? At the same time, Shanghai University's official forum published a statement. Following an investigation, student Lin Mo has been found to have no involvement with campus loans. The source of his personal funds is legal. The chat records, bank screenshots, and investigative materials included in the previous anonymous post were all fabricated. The university has transferred the relevant evidence to the public security authorities. A formal legal notice from Shanghai Technology's legal department was attached below the statement. The anonymous account belonged to Sun Kai. The person who had ordered Sun Kai to publish the rumors was Zhao Hui. Once the news spread, the entire campus erupted. Zhao Hui actually fabricated evidence to frame a freshman? His father's company is under investigation too. I heard their 500 million RMB order was just cancelled. He was laughing at someone else for being poor this morning. And by afternoon his own family's cash flow had collapsed. Holding his phone, Chenbo laughed so hard in the dorm that he repeatedly slapped the bed frame. Lin Mo, is this what you meant by the cruelty of reality? Zhou Tao analyzed the situation seriously. The timing is certainly too much of a coincidence. Zhao Hui's father threatened Lin Mo and then Shanghai Technology suddenly cancelled its cooperation with him. Liao stared at Lin Mo. Lin Mo, tell us honestly, did you have anything to do with this? Lin Mo sat at his desk reading, without even lifting his head. I'm only an ordinary freshman wearing a 9.9 RMB watch. How could I influence a corporation worth tens of billions? Chenbo nodded. That makes sense. Liao, however, said nothing. He was becoming increasingly convinced that Lin Mo was hiding an astonishing secret. The next day, Zhao Hui did not attend military training. The university had suspended his student union position and opened an investigation into the rumor campaign. Lin Mo, meanwhile, received a system notification. Temporary counterattack mission complete. Mission rating: perfect. 1 additional withdrawal opportunity awarded. Would you like to withdraw immediately? Yes. Congratulations, player. You have received a character class reward. Reward: SSS rank Secretary Shen Qingxuang. Lin Mo suddenly stopped moving. In the game, Shen Qingxuang had been the chief secretary of his commercial empire. She was fluent in 13 languages, held doctorates in finance, law, and management, and had managed assets worth tens of trillions of dollars. More importantly, her loyalty to Lin Mo was absolute. Character manifestation in progress. The system has automatically generated a legal identity and complete social relationships. 10 minutes later, Lin Mo received a phone call. Boss. The voice was familiar, calm, and cool. Even over the phone, Lin Mo immediately pictured the woman from the game who always wore a black business suit and possessed terrifying efficiency. Shen Qingxuang? Yes. I have arrived in Shanghai. There are currently 3 real-world assets requiring management. Encounter Cafe, Shanghai Technology Group, and the 5 million RMB in cash under your name. The scale is modest, but it is barely sufficient as an initial portfolio. Lin Mo fell silent for a moment. Shanghai Technology had a market value exceeding 60 billion RMB. In Shen Qingxuang's eyes, that counted only as modest. Don't reveal my identity for now. I still need to attend university. Shen Qingxuang did not question him. Understood. I will establish a multilayered holding structure and temporarily represent you in all public matters. In addition, Shanghai Technology is currently hosting the National Collegiate Business Innovation Competition. Shanghai University is one of the main regional venues. Would you like to participate? Lin Mo had not been interested, but at that moment, Chenbo suddenly burst into the dorm carrying a flyer. Brothers, our chance to get rich has arrived. Shanghai Technology's Collegiate Business Innovation Competition has a 5 million RMB grand prize. Zhou Tao pushed up his glasses. Do you have a business project? No. Do you have technical skills? No. Then what exactly are you entering with? Chenbo slapped his chest. I have connections in dreams. Liao rolled his eyes. Your so-called connection is the woman who serves food in the cafeteria. Chenbo objected. She gives me an extra piece of meat every time. How does that not count as a connection? The roommates immediately began arguing. Watching them, Lin Mo suddenly had an idea. He could continually withdraw wealth from the game, but the real world was not a single-player game. He needed partners he could genuinely trust. We'll enter. The dorm instantly fell silent. Chenbo whipped his head around. Lin Mo, are you serious? Completely. What kind of project? Lin Mo answered. A smart campus life platform. It will integrate second-hand trading, part-time job verification, assistance for students in financial difficulty, merchant reviews, and anti-fraud functions. Students can post their needs, and the platform will match them through a credit system and verified identities. Zhou Tao's eyes lit up. I've studied some programming. I can handle the basic model, Liao said. My family is in retail. I can provide merchant data and startup capital. Chenbo slapped his thigh. I'll recruit people. The other three looked at him simultaneously. Chenbo added. And handle promotion. Lin Mo laughed. Deal. When Lin Xiao learned that they were entering the competition, she volunteered to join the team as well. The platform needs to work with international students. I can handle translation and user research. The 5 of them formed the set sail team. For the next half-month, they attended military training during the day and discussed the project in the library and cafe at night. Lin Mo did not directly hand them finished technology from the game. He only provided the overall architecture, while everyone worked together to complete the remaining functions. For the first time, Chenbo put aside his carefree attitude and visited every business on the university's commercial street. Zhou Tao stayed up several nights in a row to build the platform prototype. Using his family's connections, Liao contacted more than 30 merchants. Lin Xia interviewed financially disadvantaged students and international students, organizing the functions they truly needed into a detailed report. On the day of the preliminary round, Zhao Hui reappeared at the university. Yongchan Electronics bank accounts had been frozen, and Zhao Yongchan was under investigation for commercial bribery. In only half a month, Zhao Hui had gone from a rich heir admired by everyone to the subject of gossip across the entire campus. But he had not reflected on his actions. He blamed everything on Lin Mo. This time, someone new stood beside him. Gu Chenyu. The Gu family operated one of Shanghai's largest campus internet platforms and was also a co-sponsor of the competition. Gu Chenyu was a third-year student with an even more powerful background than Zhao Hui. After reviewing Lin Mo's team's proposal, he went directly to Lin Xia. This project has no future. Your research report, however, is well written. Leave Lin Mo's team and join mine. I can guarantee you the championship and a position at Gu Group immediately after graduation. Lin Xiao refused without hesitation. I don't need it. Gu Chenyu did not become angry. Lin Xia, you're intelligent. You should understand that a freshman with no background cannot win this kind of competition. Lin Mo offended the Zhao family, and now he's standing in the Gu family's way. He can't protect you. Lin Xiao raised her head. I didn't join the team so someone could protect me. And at least Lin Mo doesn't threaten people with their futures. The smile on Gu Chenyu's face faded. I hope you can still say that after the finals. The next day, the set sail team's complete proposal suddenly appeared in Gu Chenyu's submission materials. Not only were all the feature designs identical, but every piece of research data Lin Xia had collected had also been copied. Even more absurdly, Gu Chenyu turned around and reported Lin Mo to the organizing committee for plagiarism. At the competition venue, staff members stopped the set sail team. Your project is suspected of plagiarism. You may not participate until the investigation is complete. Chenbo was so angry that he nearly charged forward. We built this line by line. Gu Chenyu is the thief. A staff member replied coldly. Mr. Gu's project was submitted 3 hours before yours. The system records do not lie. Zhou Tao's face turned pale. Someone may have hacked our account. Li Hao immediately said. I'll get the surveillance footage. It's useless. Gu Chenyu approached with Zhao Hui. The competition system belongs to Gu Group. Every server record proves that I was the first to submit the project. Zhao Hui looked at Lin Mo smugly. Aren't you supposed to be so capable? Now you don't even have the right to compete. You won a few times through luck and actually thought you could fight Mr. Gu? Lin Mo asked. Are you certain the competition system belongs to Gu Group? Gu Chenyu adjusted his cuff. Of course. The Gu family funded and built the entire campus cloud platform. We decide what the data says. Lin Mo nodded. Then this is simple. He took out his phone and sent Shen Shuang a message. Less than a minute later, a notification suddenly appeared on every computer at the competition venue. System access permissions have changed. Former service provider Gu Network has had its access suspended on suspicion of altering competition data. The platform will be taken over by Shanghai Technology's security department. Gu Chenyu's expression changed dramatically. What is going on? Who has the authority to suspend Gu Group's access? The next second, a team of technicians in business suits enter the venue. The person leading them was Shanghai Technology's director of cybersecurity, Mr. Gu. The core servers and security patents used by this competition system all belong to Shanghai Technology. Gu Group is merely the outsourced operator. We have just recovered the deleted back-end records. A clear activity log appeared on the large screen. Zhao Hui had used Sun Kai's account to enter the set sail team's back-end and steal the project files. Gu Chenyu had then altered the submission time, moving his own project 3 hours earlier. Every piece of evidence was unmistakable. The venue erupted in shock. The professors on the judging panel looked furious. Gu Chenyu, what explanation do you have? Gu Chenyu stared fixedly at the screen. Impossible. Why would Shanghai Technology intervene for one freshman? The cybersecurity director answered calmly. The chairman personally ordered a full investigation of all cheating. Gu Chenyu hurriedly asked, "Who is your chairman?" The director glanced at Lin Mo but did not answer. Gu Chenyu noticed the tiny gesture, and an absurd possibility suddenly entered his mind. He immediately rejected it. Lin Mo was only an ordinary freshman. There was no chance he was the chairman behind Shanghai Technology. The organizing committee ultimately disqualified Gu Chenyu's team. Because Zhao Hui had participated in a second malicious attempt to frame another student, the university formally expelled him. The administration required him to apologize publicly before the entire faculty and student body. On the day of the apology, Chen Bo specially ordered a rectangular chocolate cake from Encounter Cafe. Its surface had been decorated to look like a carpet. Zhao Hui, real carpet is unsanitary, so we prepared a substitute for you. The training field exploded with laughter. Standing on stage, Zhao Hui's face shifted between livid and pale. He knew that if he refused to eat it, the video of his wager at the cafe would continue circulating. In the end, under the eyes of more than 1,000 students, he could only bite into the carpet cake. Chen Bo immediately raised his phone. A historic moment. Zhao Hui has finally kept his promise. After Zhao Hui left the university, Gu Chenyu received only a minor punishment. The Gu family donated a laboratory building to the university and shifted all responsibility onto technical employees. In the end, Gu Chenyu received only a formal demerit. Before leaving the venue, he walked over to Lin Mo. "You think this is over? Shanghai Technology may protect you once, but it cannot protect you forever. At the national finals 1 month from now, the Gu family will show you what capital power truly means." Lin Mo watched him walk away. He seems to have misunderstood something. Lin Xia asked, "What? Shanghai Technology isn't protecting me." Lin Mo smiled. "It's only carrying out my orders." Lin Xia froze for a moment. Lin Mo had already turned toward the rest of the team. "Stop staring. We still need to prepare for the finals." The national finals were held at the Shanghai International Convention and Exhibition Center. The set sail team had advanced through every round and become the greatest dark horse of the competition. But one day before the finals, Gu Group suddenly announced the launch of its future campus platform. Its functions were highly similar to the set sail project, yet it had already secured preliminary cooperation agreements with more than 300 schools across China. The Gu family also held a press conference and announced an investment of 5 billion RMB for promotion. Standing on stage, Gu Chenyu publicly declared, "Small student projects lack funding and operational capability. Only mature corporations can truly transform campus life." Everyone knew those words were aimed at Lin Mo. After seeing the news, Chen Bo completely deflated. 5 billion RMB. How are we supposed to compete with that? Zhou Tao said, "Even if our product is better, no university will risk choosing a student team." Liao contacted several investment firms. The moment they learned that the competitor was Gu Group, every one of them refused. Lin Xiao looked at Lin Mo. "You've already done very well. Even if we lose this time, it doesn't mean the project has failed." Lin Mo set down his phone. "Who said we're going to lose? Gu Group's 5 billion RMB investment looks enormous. But the more money they pile up, the louder the crash will be when it falls." At midnight that night, The system notification sounded again. A new day has begun. The player's real-world assets have been detected as exceeding 50 billion RMB. System upgrade conditions satisfied. The daily random withdrawal system has upgraded into the commercial empire manifestation system. New function: targeted withdrawal. After completing 7 ordinary withdrawals, the player may designate one game asset to manifest in the real world. A light flashed in Lin Mo's eyes. Targeted withdrawal? Open the asset list. Countless game assets appear on the virtual screen. The Shanghai Financial Center, Dubai's Burj Al Arab, a European aviation group, a global banking chain, semiconductor companies, energy conglomerates. At the bottom of the list was the central holding platform of his in-game empire, Sungcheong Capital. The company controlled hundreds of premier corporations worldwide and had an in-game valuation exceeding $8 trillion. But at the system's current level, he could not yet withdraw it in full. Lin Mo finally selected an asset that could currently be manifested. Targeted withdrawal. 100% ownership of Tianqi Cloud Computing Group? Confirm. Withdrawal successful. Tianqi Cloud Computing Group has manifested in the real world. All relevant personnel, data centers, patents, and legal operating records have been completed automatically. The player has become the group's sole shareholder. In the real world, Tianqi Cloud Computing was Asia's largest educational cloud service provider. More than 1,000 universities across China used its services for academic administration, campus payments, and data platforms. Compared with Tianqi Group, the Gu family's so-called campus internet empire was merely a second-tier distributor. At the finals the next day, Gu Chenyu deliberately brought dozens of media reporters. He intended to make Lin Mo fail completely before a national audience. After the set sail team finished its presentation, a judge arranged by the Gu family immediately challenged them. You have no funding, no operations team, and no university resources. What makes you believe this platform can ever be implemented? Gu Chenyu sat in the audience with a victorious smile at the corner of his mouth. Lin Mo did not answer. He looked toward the entrance to the venue. Our partners have arrived. The doors slowly opened. Qin Shuang entered first. She wore a black business suit, and behind her walked the heads of Tianqi Cloud Computing, Shanghai Technology, and 12 investment institutions. Everyone at the venue rose to their feet. Is that Tianqi Group's new president? President Su from Shanghai Technology is here too, and the head of the Huaxia Education Foundation. Even the host was stunned by the lineup. Qin Shuang walked to the front of the stage. Tianqi Cloud Computing has decided to open its nationwide university service interfaces to the Set Sail platform. The first group will include a total of 627 partner universities. Su Qingya took the microphone. Shanghai Technology will provide technical and cybersecurity support. The initial investment will be 2 billion RMB, a representative of the Education Foundation said. The platform's aid for financially disadvantaged students and its anti-fraud functions have significant social value. The foundation will contribute 500 million RMB in charitable funding. One cooperation agreement after another appeared on the large screen. Gu Chenyu's smile vanished completely. He shot to his feet. Impossible. Why would Tianqi Group work with a student team? Qin Shuang looked at him calmly. Because the actual controller of the Set Sail platform has the authority to mobilize all of Tianqi Group's resources. Gu Chenyu demanded. Who is the actual controller? Qin Shuang turned around. Under the gaze of everyone in the venue, she walked up to Lin Mo and lowered her head slightly. Boss, all of the cooperation plans you requested have been completed. The entire convention center fell silent in an instant. Qin Bo's mouth hung open, and the bottle of water in his hand dropped to the floor. Zhou Tao's glasses slid down to the tip of his nose. Although Li Hao had long harbored suspicions, he was still too shocked to speak. Lin Xia stared blankly at Lin Mo. Boss? Gu Chenyu looked as though he had heard the most absurd joke in the world. You called him boss? Qin Shuang said. Mr. Lin Mo is the sole shareholder of Tianqi Cloud Computing Group. He is also the chairman of Shanghai Technology Group. Every investment in the Set Sail platform was personally authorized by Mr. Lin. Gu Chenyu stumbled 2 steps backward. He had always assumed that Lin Mo was merely receiving help from some senior executive at Shanghai Technology. Never in his wildest dreams had he imagined that the chairman hidden behind the scenes had been standing in front of him all along. Lin Mo looked toward the judges. The question just now was what gave us the ability to implement this project. Is this answer sufficient? Cold sweat covered the forehead of the judge planted by the Gu family. Yes, of course it is. The set sail project has formidable technical and financial support. It is fully capable of nationwide implementation. Lin Mo then looked at Gu Chenyu. Mr. Gu just said that only mature corporations can truly transform campus life. You had a point. So I brought Asia's largest educational cloud company. Laughter sounded throughout the venue. Gu Chenyu's face was deathly pale. But the matter was not over. Tianqi Group's head of legal affairs produced another document. An internal investigation has found that while serving as a distributor, Gu Group falsely inflated project costs, stole user information, and engaged in commercial bribery. Effective immediately, Tianqi Group is terminating all of Gu Group's distribution rights. The relevant evidence has been transferred to the regulatory authorities. Gu Chenyu's phone began vibrating wildly. His father, company executives, and bank representatives called one after another. 70% of Gu Group's campus business depended on Tianqi Group. Losing its distribution rights meant the entire company would lose its core revenue overnight. No! Gu Chenyu rushed toward Lin Mo. You can't do this. Gu Group has more than 10,000 employees. Lin Mo answered calmly. The employees who genuinely work hard will be offered positions by a new company. But those who abuse their authority to steal data and alter competition results must face the consequences. Gu Chenyu finally understood. Lin Mo had not merely received a sudden windfall. He possessed commercial power capable of deciding whether a major corporation lived or died. There was no suspense in the final result. The set sail team won the national championship. Once Chen Bo stepped onto the awards stage, he clutched the trophy and refused to let go. Lin Mo.no. Chairman Lin, you actually kept this from us for so long. Qiu Tao added seriously. You said that watch cost 9 renminbi and 90 cents with free shipping. That requires a new explanation. Li Hao immediately added. In the cafe. Don't tell me you really own it. Lin Mo nodded. I do. All three roommates' eyes widened at once. Chen Bo clutched his chest. So the 888 renminbi we spent that day eventually went right back into your own account? Strictly speaking, the costs and taxes had to be deducted. Chen Bo let out an anguished cry. Profiteer. We spent half the day panicking over a piece of cake while you sat there earning money from your own purchase. Lin Xia stood nearby, but the look in her eyes was more complicated than those of the others. Only after everyone else had left did she ask quietly, why did you keep hiding it from me? Lin Mo was silent for a moment. At first, I didn't know how to explain it. Later, I found it rather amusing that you treated me like an impoverished freshman who needed help. Lin Xia glared at him. So you were laughing at me the entire time? No. Lin Mo's smile faded. You were the first person to offer me a bottle of water when I appeared to have nothing. You were also the first person willing to give up all your part-time wages to protect my dignity. I own cafes, corporations, and a great deal of money. But none of those things matter as much as that cup of peach oolong. Lin Xia's face slowly turned red. Don't think I'll forgive you just because you said a few nice things. Then what will it take? At the very least. Lin Xia thought for a long time. At the very least. You have to buy me dinner. Lin Mo smiled. What would you like? We can't go to your own restaurant. Otherwise, you'll make money again. On the third day after the national finals, Gu Group came under investigation. Gu Chenyu's father attempted to unite other investors in a commercial attack against Tianqi Group. They paid media outlets to spread claims that the source of Lin Mo's assets was unclear, that he had manipulated the competition, and that he was using capital to crush competitors. A flood of false reports suddenly appeared online. Mysterious university student becomes 10 billion RMB tycoon overnight. Capital giant controls campus competition. Set sail platform suspected of stealing student data. The Gu family also joined 7 companies in announcing a boycott of Tianqi Group. For a time, the negative coverage was overwhelming. Lin Mo was facing a genuine capital siege for the first time. In a Shanghai technology conference room, dozens of executives wore grave expressions. Su Qingya said, the Gu family also has foreign capital supporting it. If every partner company withdraws at the same time, the group will face significant short-term pressure. Qin Qingshuang remained completely calm. Boss, I only need your authorization. I can resolve this within 24 hours. Lin Mo asked. How? Acquire them. The conference room instantly fell silent. Su Qingya coughed lightly. Secretary Shen. The other side consists of 7 publicly traded companies. Their combined market value exceeds 200 billion RMB. I know. Qin Shuang opened a file. All 7 companies currently have debt problems. The largest creditor bank for 4 of them is Shanghai International Bank. The core suppliers for the other 3 are Far East Energy and Tsinghua Semiconductor. Although those companies have not yet fully manifested in reality, you possess their asset certificates in your game inventory. With 2 targeted withdrawals, we can sever all of the opposing sides' funding and supply chains. Lin Mo looked at the system interface. He still needed 2 more ordinary withdrawals before he could receive another targeted opportunity. At that moment, the system voice suddenly sounded. A real-world commercial war has been detected. Large-scale mission: the Empire's first battle initiated. Mission requirement: defeat the malicious Capital Alliance without harming ordinary employees or users. Mission reward: 2 targeted withdrawals unlocked in advance. The corner of Lin Mo's mouth slowly rose. System: targeted withdrawal. Shanghai International Bank and Tsinghua Semiconductor Group. Withdrawal successful. 100% controlling ownership of Shanghai International Bank has manifested. 100% controlling ownership of Tsinghua Semiconductor Group has manifested. The next morning, the 7 companies had just held a joint press conference announcing the complete termination of all cooperation with Tianqi Group. Before the press conference had even ended, all 7 received notifications from their banks. Every overdue loan had been called in for early repayment. Their semiconductor supply contracts were also suspended. After taking calls on stage, each chairman looked worse than the last. Why did Shanghai Bank suddenly tighten our credit? Didn't Tsinghua Semiconductor sign a long-term agreement with us? This is bad. Our stock prices are falling. Within half an hour, the shares of all 7 companies hit their daily lower trading limit. The Gu family had intended to surround Lin Mo with capital. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by genuine capital power. Gu Qinyu's father finally called Lin Mo himself. Mr. Lin, a young man shouldn't destroy every path of retreat. We can negotiate. Lin Mo sat on the dorm balcony. Downstairs, Chen Bo was arguing with a delivery driver over how much a box of snacks actually weighed. The entire campus was so peaceful that it seemed completely disconnected from a commercial war worth hundreds of billions of RMB. Mr. Gu, you were the ones who launched the attack. Now that you can't win, you want to negotiate? Commercial competition always has winners and losers. Gu's father suppressed his anger. If you restore our loans and supplies, we are willing to apologize publicly. An apology isn't enough, Lin Mo said. First, Gu Group will withdraw from every campus data business. Second, you will disclose all student information collected illegally and accept a regulatory investigation. Third, you will sell your education charity fund and allow the set sail team to take control of it. This is robbery. You can refuse. Lin Mo glanced at the time. But I can't guarantee how much longer your company will survive. The other end of the call remained silent for a long time. Finally, Gu's father said in a low voice, I accept. The massive capital siege lasted less than 48 hours. All 7 companies participating in the attack withdrew. Gu Group lost its core business. The false media reports were retracted one after another. An even greater reversal followed. The set sail team published all of the platform's privacy protection protocols and invited regulators, student representatives, and cybersecurity experts to supervise it together. The platform that had originally been questioned gained even more university support precisely because of its transparency and security. 3 months after launch, the set sail platform covered 1.200 universities. It prevented tens of thousands of campus fraud cases and provided more than 1 billion RMB in educational assistance to students in financial difficulty. Zhou Tao became head of the technical department. Li Hao took charge of merchant partnerships. Using his astonishing social skills, Chen Bo built a nationwide campus promotion team. Lin Xia became responsible for charitable programs and international student services. They were no longer merely Lin Mo's roommates and upperclasswomen. Each of them had found the position that truly suited them. On the final day of his first semester, Lin Mo went alone to the area near the Shanghai Financial Center. He raised his head and looked at the skyscraper towering into the clouds. In the game, that building had once served as the Asian headquarters of his commercial empire. In reality, it still belonged to another company. The system interface appeared automatically. The player's total real-world assets have exceeded 1 trillion RMB. Large-scale mission: the Empire's first battle complete. Mission rating: perfect. The commercial empire manifestation system has upgraded again. Ultimate function unlocking. The player may select one core game asset to manifest completely in the real world. 3 choices appear on the virtual screen. Global Commercial Center, Sungcheong Capital, Empire Personnel Legion. Lin Mo did not choose immediately. The Global Commercial Center would grant him a vast number of premier properties. Sungcheong Capital would allow him to control hundreds of companies around the world. The Empire Personnel Legion would bring every SSS rank manager, bodyguard, attorney, scientist, and engineer from the game into reality. In terms of pure value, Sungcheong Capital was unquestionably the strongest, but Lin Mo ultimately selected the third option: manifest the Empire Personnel Legion. Player confirmation required. After manifestation, members of the Personnel Legion will possess independent minds and complete lives, but their loyalty will remain permanently locked. Confirm. A roar that only Lin Mo seemed able to hear rolled across the sky. Around the world, identity records for countless people appeared simultaneously in real-world systems. Wall Street's most mysterious investment genius, a top attorney who had maintained a perfect record for 10 consecutive years, a scientist who had mastered next-generation semiconductor technology, a security expert who had protected leaders of multiple nations, a professional manager capable of bringing companies back from the edge of bankruptcy. At the same moment, all of them received a message: the Lord of the Empire has arrived. All personnel, report to your positions immediately. 1 hour later, dozens of black sedans stopped beneath the Shanghai Financial Center. Qin Shuang stood at the front. Behind her was the core team Lin Mo had trusted most in the game. A tall man stepped forward. Qin Feng, SSS rank head of security, reporting to the boss. A middle-aged man wearing gold-rimmed glasses bowed slightly. Lu Yuan, chief legal counsel, reporting to the boss. Young semiconductor scientists, investment experts, and professional managers stepped forward one after another. Passers-by stopped to watch. They did not know who the young man in ordinary clothes was. Even less did they know that the people standing before him would reshape the commercial order of the entire world. Finally, Qin Shuang said, "Boss, all personnel are in position. Once you give the order, we can rebuild the commercial empire from the game within 3 years." Lin Mo looked up at the Shanghai Financial Center. First step: buy this building. Qin Shuang took out a tablet. It currently belongs to the overseas firm Poseidon Capital. They have just quoted a price of 120 billion renminbi. Buy it. Understood. 10 minutes later, the acquisition agreement was formally signed. A system notification sounded in Lin Mo's mind. A core game building has been detected as returning to the player's ownership. Hidden condition complete. The game's commercial empire and the real world have begun deep integration. Congratulations, player. You have received ultimate authority. 1 targeted manifestation of an empire asset per day. From that day onward, the premier hotels, aviation groups, banks, energy companies, private islands, and technology conglomerates from the game began entering reality at a rate of 1 per day. 6 months later, Sungcheong Capital was formally established. 1 year later, it had become one of the largest diversified commercial groups in the world. Some people questioned how a 19-year-old university student could control such an enormous empire. Lin Mo never answered directly. He continued living in the university dorm. He still fought Shinbo for the last piece of fried chicken. He still helped Zhou Tao review code. Whenever Li Hao showed off a new car, Lin Mo still deliberately claimed that his own limited edition supercar was rented. Only when he entered Encounter Cafe would the employees quietly greet him as their owner. Lin Xiao also continued working there part-time. It was not because she needed money, but because she could not bear to leave the place where the two of them had first truly gotten to know each other. One weekend afternoon, Lin Mo sat at their original table 8. Lin Xiao brought over 2 cups of peach oolong. "You can't pay this time," she said seriously. "Why not? I have a buy one get one free coupon." Lin Mo could not help laughing. This cafe doesn't offer that kind of coupon. Lin Xiao sat across from him. "It does now. I'm the head of the charitable foundation, and I'm also the boss's." She suddenly stopped. Lin Mo deliberately asked, "The boss is what?" "Classmate." "Only a classmate? Also his upper-class woman. Nothing else?" Lin Xiao's face slowly turned red. "If you ask again, I'll take the drinks away." Lin Mo reached out and held his cup. "You can't do that. This was the first enrollment gift I received after coming to Shanghai." Bright sunlight shone outside the window. Qinbo Zhou Tao and Li Hao were arguing at the entrance over who should pay the bill. In the distance, Chen Qingshuang was taking a call from the European branch. Qin Feng and several bodyguards stood watch outside the commercial street, only to be mistaken by university security for newly hired fitness instructors. Everything looked lively and ordinary. No one knew that Lin Mo's system space still held $9 trillion in cash, hundreds of multinational corporations, and countless premier assets waiting to manifest. His empire had not reached its end. Quite the opposite. The true era of the global business king had only just begun.